Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to open up a set of learning files to see how great communication is really built, piece by piece, right from the very beginning. Let's jump in.
So think of our journey today kind of like climbing a ladder. We'll start at the bottom with the basic words, the vocabulary of value. Then we'll grab some grammar tools to learn how to assemble them. After that, we'll see it all come to life in stories of innovation. And finally, we'll put it all to use with mastering everyday communication. Every step really does build on the one before. Okay, first things first. You've got to have the foundation, right? To even begin to talk business, you need to speak the language of value. And as these files show us, that whole conversation almost always starts with the one thing everyone understands: money.
So check this out. Right out of the files, we get this quick little world tour of currency. You've got the US dollar, the British pound, Japan's yen, the Saudi rial, and the euro. It seems basic, but the simple vocabulary is literally the first key you need to unlock international business. Now, if you want some perspective on just how big these numbers can get, look at this. 31 billion with a B dollars. I mean, that's just a staggering figure. It's the amount Bill Gates donated to his foundation. It really shows you these aren't just numbers on a page. They represent absolutely massive real-world impact.
And this chart kind of explains why that kind of philanthropy is even possible. Back in 1996, there were 423 billionaires in the world. Today, 691. That incredible growth in wealth is exactly why these huge donations, like that 31 billion we just saw, have become such a major part of the global conversation.
Okay, so we've seen the big picture money talk. Now we need to get down to the nitty-gritty, the day-to-day language. Words like profit, supplier, budget, client, invoice, these are the real nuts and bolts. These are the terms you're going to find in pretty much any business file out there, and they're what help you get things done.
All right, so we've got our building blocks, those essential words. Now it's time to climb to the next rung on our ladder, the grammar tools. This is where we learn how to actually build things with those words, how to assemble them into clear, effective sentences. Now, I know, grammar can seem a little dry, but stick with me, because this one is actually crucial. You can count coins, you can count employees, but you can't really count cash or money as a whole. Getting this small detail right is the difference between sounding really precise and just sounding a bit confusing. Now, here's a tool from the files that's just beautiful in its simplicity: giving a command. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, just start with a verb, like open the window. 2, need to say no, just add don't. Don't move the PC. 3, want to be polite, tack on a please. It's simple, it's direct, and it works. Sometimes the smallest words are the most useful, and our files point to a great one: can. Think about it. It's like a little Swiss Army knife for language. It lets you politely ask for permission and make a request. It's just one little word, but unlocks so many smooth, friendly interactions. Okay, this is a subtle one, but it's so powerful. The files highlight this distinction really well. If you say, "I like fish," you're just stating a general fact about yourself. But if you say, "I'd like chicken and rice, please," you are ordering dinner right now. That tiny grammatical shift is the difference between a comment and a request, and it completely changes the meaning.
So we've got the words, we've got the tools to put them together. Now for the really fun part, seeing how it all works in the real world. This section of the files is all about using language to tell incredible stories about projects and big ideas. So let's be honest, projects don't always go to plan, do they? This chart tells a story we can all relate to. Modern IT projects, on average, run 56% over budget. But here's the wild part. This is nothing new. Even back in the 1820s, Stephenson's famous railway went 45% over. It's the timeless language of project management struggles. But hey, it's not all bad news. The files also show us these amazing success stories. So what's this number, 27%, all about? Well, that's how much the massive $2 billion Saudi Aramco gas pipeline came in under budget. Oh, and by the way, they also finished 6 months early. Now that is a success story.
Language isn't just for business meetings. It's for telling the stories of incredible lives. Just look at this timeline for Thomas Edison. This guy didn't just invent things in a workshop. He built the world's first ever research lab. He essentially created an idea factory, a system for innovation that absolutely changed the world. And this quote, this really gets to the very heart of his philosophy. I failed my way to success.
I mean, just think about that for a second. For Edison, failure wasn't the opposite of success. It was a critical ingredient. Every wrong turn was just more data, another lesson learned on the way to the right answer. Such a powerful idea. And talk about impact, look at the incredible ripple effect of a single bright idea. A charity called Light Up the World brought simple LED lights to villages without electricity. The result? It wasn't just light. It meant kids had more time to study. It meant fewer health problems from old lamps. It meant fewer accidental fires. That's the story of real, tangible, life-altering change. All right, we've reached the top of our ladder. This is the final step, where we take everything we've seen and put it all together. We've looked at the vocabulary, the grammar, and the stories in the files. Now let's see how they all combine in just normal, everyday situations. Here's a classic scenario we've all been in, right? You're lost. The files break down asking for directions into 3 simple parts. Step 1, get someone's attention politely. Excuse me? Step 2, ask a clear question. How do I get to the station? Step 3, listen to the answer. Turn right, go straight on. See? When you break it down, it's not so intimidating. Okay, let's try another one. Picture yourself sitting down in a restaurant. One of the very first things you'll probably hear is this simple, polite question. It's the perfect way to kick off the conversation. And here it is, our grammar tool in action. Remember that difference between like and would like? This is it, right here. You're not saying, I like fruit juice, which is just a general fact. You're saying, I'd like a fruit juice, please, making a specific, polite request for right now. That is clear, efficient communication. All right, let's switch gears to a business setting. Listen to the words here. Invoice, price, product. That's the vocabulary from our very first file, all being used to state a problem clearly and directly. No fluff, just practical, problem-solving language. And here's the resolution. By using those key business terms like account number and total, the conversation cuts right to the chase. The problem is identified, the details are confirmed, and the correct information is provided. That's how effective communication gets the job done. So, after our tour through all these communication files, from single words all the way up to complex stories, we're left with this final question. We've seen the vocabulary, the grammar, and the incredible power of a good story. But when it comes to turning your own idea into a success, which tool do you think is the most critical? Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.